The first thing that I'm going to tell you about is Arts and Impact. It is a new cross-school initiative. We quickly figured out that there was no other place other than Gallatin that could host this exhibit, the first traveling exhibit from the Bob Dylan Center.
Dylan had quietly been saving things, as it turned out, and made that known in 2016. What sorts of things? All the handwritten lyrics, manuscripts, notebooks, photographs, film clips, home movies. So when the archival material started arriving, Mark Davidson thought, there's such a story to tell here about the early years.
This is Bob Dylan's memoir called Chronicles, Volume 1. He's very careful about delineating the difference in his mind between protest songs and topical songs. Topical songs were songs that had to do with something that had been in the newspapers recently.
I think what he had and has is an extraordinary amount of empathy.
I wanted to talk a little bit about, as I said, Dylan's relationship to Woody Guthrie, which was a big part of the reason why he came to New York. In Chronicles, he writes that Guthrie's songs had the infinite sweep of humanity in them. But I think Woody's politics, he was anti-fascist, he was a socialist, he was maybe allegedly a communist, were appealing to Dylan. But it's interesting to me in Chronicles that what he talks about in the context of Guthrie was that sort of intimacy, the sort of earnestness of his music, the beauty of his music. I think both of those things were sort of hitting Dylan in equal measure in that moment.
Dylan famously stole a bunch of rare folk records from Paul Nelson. And Dylan said that those folk records were so rare that the only place you could find them in the United States was at Paul's house. He said at the Music Cares event that if other people had listened to all the folk songs that he listened to as many times as he did and played them and immersed themselves in them, that they would have written Blowin' in the Wind too, and they would have written those early songs. And I'm just wondering if you think there's any truth to that.
Again, according to this book, it's a chronicle of couch surfing, and he'll stay for weeks at a time at somebody's apartment, and he describes the bookshelf. He was so hungry and so curious.
I think Dylan kind of put in the work, which I suppose is what Ben is saying. There was a sort of hunger, an ambition then, an almost sort of desperate need to kind of consume those things in this really culturally omnivorous way that I think certainly, resulted in his excellence.